So this is Baruch Fleischman, and we've been reading the introduction of Rav Schick, Rav Elazar Shlomo Schick, a tremendous tzaddik, not a public personality, because what Rav Schick did was he wrote. He spent his life writing, communicating with us that we should be able to grow and find our way through the darkness of this light, this life that we live. And he's talking about the derech, the road that we walk in our lives from the time that we're born in our parents' homes and the time that we become adults. All of this is brought about by Kodesh Baruch Hu. And in that road that we walk on, there are good spots and there are bad spots, and you have to be careful. And he brought in the word Baki. Baki, which means expert. A person has to know how to manage success. And a person has to know how to manage failure. And the depression that comes with failure and the arrogance that comes with success. All of this has to be managed. And it's all, he says, is really the same thing, because of the word Baki, which also refers to the word Yabuk, which is the stream that Yaakov had to cross to fight with the angel of the other side. He says it's a mixture of two things, because Yaakov comes from the side of Rahmanas, and on the other side, that struggle has to go on. The person is the mixture of the name Elokim, which is din and punishment and problems, which is Gematria 86, and with the name Elokim, Havaya rather, which is the number 26, which gives you the 112, which is that number, which is Yabuk, which is also, though, Rav Schick wants to teach us the idea of being Baki. You have to realize that this is a world that has a lot of pain in it. You got to know how to handle it, not to fall. Let's read on with Rav Schick. It says, because when a person sometimes gets too religious, it can blind his eyes and hurt him. Like for example, when you look at the sun, or Hashem is mazik le'enov, it's a damage to the eyes. So therefore, when you get to this high level near the sun, so to speak, metaphorically, come very close to Hashem Baruch. And certainly when a man falls. This is the concept of know how to go downwards, know how to go down. That even if you go into the ultimate depths of the deepest pit, I love the his chazik, you have to fortify yourself b'yoser says with more effort, b'yoser with more power, in any way that you can in order to avoid giving up hope. Even though it seems to a person that he is lost from it, he's without any hope, any ability to be able to get back. Him calls those all of his chazek, but then so the person has to fortify himself. Lo lipo b'data klal, and not let himself fall in his mind and his thinking at all. And even if it appears to him that he's lost his world, he's just lost it in a minute. Afal pikein, even so, al yisyayish b'shum panim ba'oifen, don't ever give up hope in any way. Elayeda, shagam sham, that also where he's at now, believe this or not, he says, sham nimsa HaKadosh Baruch Hu was there, because the Rahmana is hidden, or to combine in some way that you need to reach it within the din. So a person has to fortify himself, strengthen his position. So this is the way, the phrase that says, B'derech, along this road. What road? The road of the difficulty and the pleasures of your life, where you need to be Baki, he says. He said this is what the phrase meant at the beginning of this story, when he says, along the road I said this story. That anybody who really listened, he had a thought to repent. Because every single individual person has a story of his own. He says, Sipur Masa ba'atzmo. He has the telling of a story of his own life. I'll call echad over masha over. Every individual person has what happens to them. Things happen. And like the Tana Kodesh says, everything you do is written in a book. What book? The book up above, the book of origins. Down here where we're at, is everything that we do is recorded. The tzaddik arouses himself from his sleep. Because he's revealed to man, that is, he's telling the story in this world. The story is here. Like it says over there, SIPUREI by saying these stories. It causes a person to arouse himself from his sleep. Because the tzaddik reveals to every individual all of this, his whole life, every inyanim, the whole thing of himself, his whole being, and then everything that happens to that person in this world, each one of them has its own story. And all these things that are happening in your life, that are going on in your life, they're all tied together, joined together, almost to all of the rest of the world. All hidden things are beyond them, that are up above and panimi to you. And as a result of that, that connection starts a person to think about repenting and trying getting close to God again. Because now it's become known to him. He knows. Shakal Masha over, and this is a phrase that Rav Schick uses a lot. Shakal Masha over alav nichta b'sefer elyon. Everything that happens to a person is written up above. V'na'asim b'sipuro Torah shlema, and from that story, the story of the person's life, becomes really a Torah of its own, a complete Torah. When a person hears this and he understands that he's in part of a combination, he's a manifestation also of things up above him, panimi to him. They came before his physical body. The person starts to go becomes tremendously aroused to do tshuva. Because he doesn't want that will be written about him in the upper book. And they start getting into all the little details of what he does. Because he realizes if that's actually happening and what he's doing is perpetuity, he will change his ways in order to understand that the book is going to come out good. The rabbis say like this, is in a medrash on Rus. The Kosev is coming to teach you. Shim Yehei Adam Oseh Mitzvah. If a person does one good thing, Yehei Oseh B'Leiv Shalom, he should do that one mitzvah with a complete heart. She'ilu Hoya Ruven Yodea, because if listen to this, Im Hoya Ruven Yodea, if Reuven would know, Sha'HaKodesh Baruch Hu Machtiv Lo, and because the Kodesh Baruch Hu in his Torah, he wrote on him, V'yishma Reuven v'yatzilehu miyadim, and Reuven heard, and he saved them from their hands. In other words, they were throwing Yosef into the pit, or they're going to kill him, and Reuven saved him. And if he would have known that they were going to write that part, then he would have taken the boy, and he would have taken him by his shoulders, and brought him to his father. So if Aaron would know, Shakodesh Baruch Hu, Machtiv Lo, will write this on him. That also he will come out to meet you. That is, when Moshe was coming back to Mitzrayim, and Hashem said that Aaron will come out to meet you. He said, you would have come out with a band, Betufim, Becholos, Hoya Yotze the cross, or you would have a parade. Roim Mizesa, we see from this, Shim Hoya Yodea Adam, that if a man would know, that everything that happens to this man in this world, this is a complete and total story. You know, you have things going on in your mind that keep going around and around and around. You know, those things are being written down. And being written down, what's going on in your mind, everything is being written down. It's all a matter because this is your impression. This is the rishima that is left by your actions. This is a complete and total story in the Maisa that's written in the big book up above. And through this, Ba'atzmo, by himself, the tshuva, a person now begins to realize what he's doing, and he becomes aroused to do tshuva. So he guards himself from that moment that he has this revelation that everything he's doing is being written down. Because Maasot the tshuva, and the person will want to do tshuva then. Cause himself to cling to Hashem, and this way he will be able to understand. This is Baruch Fleischman, Tikkun Elevator Kollel. This is the introduction to the first story by the tremendous tzaddik, Rabbi Elazar Shlomo Schick.